Hi there, welcome to Live Unscripted, where we have real conversations, unscripted journeys. We are recording live from Empire Podcast Studio, and the quality that you see is the quality that you get. So let us help you broadcast your podcast today. So my guest for today, actor, model, singer, host, and he's also the reason why I have my own podcast. Let me welcome you, Tony Eusoff.
Hey.
Hey.
So I just realized I haven't cut my nails anymore, so just don't put a close up with my nails.
Right.
Anyway, hey, Amar, what's up?
I'm good, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It's a very nice studio, if I should say it myself.
Yes.
How many ACs you guys have?
3.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, because that's always my biggest concern when I come to a set. You know, because I've been in this country all my whole life and I haven't acclimatized. It's weird, right? Yeah.
So, I mentioned that earlier. Actor, model, singer, host.
Yeah.
This is what's on your Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And it's not been updated for a while there.
You know, I'm a relic. Yeah, I'm so old that I go for for dating sites, I go for carbon dating.
So why don't you add a stand-up comedian on that list?
No, I can't handle heckling. I can't really think of my feet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not that quick. I wish I was. You know the comedian Jimmy Carr?
Yeah.
He's so quick, man.
Yep.
He's just so...
He's an insult comic where he just throws insults and gets back.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You need to insult to make fun of people. Because that's people pay to watch a comic, and if you don't get made fun of, to me, you're a loser.
Actor, model, singer, host.
Yes.
Which is your favorite title of all 4?
I would like to be more defined as an actor. I mean, that's my real passion. But I used modeling to sort of get into this. I mean, it wasn't planned at the time. TV commercial modeling came about accidentally, so it was serendipitous. I still had
Serendipitous. Kids, look up that word.
I still held a day job at the time, so it was just one TVC shoot every couple of months. That's the average. You take 1 or 2 days off. You just submit MC to your boss or something. Or unpaid leave, if you want to do it properly.
Annual leave.
And yeah. So that went on for about a little over a year, until somebody, and this is pre-social media. This is way back in 2003. So after about a year or so of just doing TV commercials and appearing in the odd, fashion sort of spread every now and again. Spread like butter. But those days were physical magazines, remember?
So center spreads.
That sort of stuff. We used to have these publications under this press called Karang Craft. Way back in the day.
Yes.
So I owe a lot of how I started to them as well for putting me on the fore of the Malay market.
Right.
So that sort of got the traction for me, and my number went around. This is before social media. So how do you advertise yourself? You can't. So you just have to take it on faith that your number gets circulated enough until some right guy finds you and hey, I want this guy, get him, which is what happened. One of my TV commercials, it was the first time I had a close-up, and it was a really romantic sort of storyboard to it. It was a paint ad, chat ad, and then the storyline was that I surprised my beautiful wife, buying her a house, and it was all repainted and whatnot. So anyway, it was it cut me out to be this romantic husband, and first time a close-up on me, so I was the fresh face in the block. And a director by the name of Kabi Bhatia, I don't know whether it was him or his people and his company saw me and hey, and they were looking for a new lineup for this soap drama called Astana Idaman for Astro at the time, and they were producing the second season. And so they were looking for a new lineup, and they saw me and said, hey, let's give this guy a try. Called me up, went for the audition, screen test, and a week later they said, hey, you got the gig. So it's a 3-month shoot, and so that was the crossroads for me, because I still had a day job, and thought, if it's a 3-month shoot, I can't take a 3-month holiday or
3-month MC.
So yeah,
Dah
3
mati
months
tu.
MC, that's why. So I decided I either do this or not take it, and might regret later on. I was 27 at the time, and you know when you're in your 20s, you
What
think
year was this?
this is 2004.
Wow.
So when you're in your mid 20s, you have this weird thing, like, time is of the essence, and so I told myself, it was like, I'll try things out until I hit 30. I think 30 is when I give myself the time to, like, okay, maybe I should think more seriously and, like, really zero in on what I need to do to survive. So I was 27. I still had 3 more years to go before I set it in stone, basically. So I thought, I'll give this a shot. If it doesn't work out after a year, then I'll go back to, like, drawing board again. But that was it. It was a struggle the first couple of years, but I would say my first year was something like 3 months of shoot, and then 1 month, 2 months of nothing, and then another month of shoot for the sitcom I did after the Astana Idaman, and then it was like, so 1-2 months of no shoot again. So, like, but I would use that time to again, before social media. So what do we do? I had to proactively get hold of producers' numbers, directors, or what have you, and production managers, and every now and again call them and say, "Hey, bang, kak, saya tengah ni." At that time, we used to call people abang and kakak because I was young. By the way, I'm free. So I literally had to do that.
You didn't get a manager?
No, I didn't know how to go about getting a manager. Like, I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know enough people, and very segan to ask, and nobody really came to me and said, "Hey, do you want me to manage you?" Nobody ever did that. I don't know whether I was deemed unbankable or people didn't want to approach me. I don't know what it was, but in a way it was good because it gave me a crash course in how to handle myself in this business. That's how I learned it in a relatively short time. I figured things out after the first 2 years. By figuring things out, I mean which productions to avoid doing work with, because you didn't know who to,
right?
To
Again, Tony, working actors stay working.
But yeah. No. Okay, I'm going to tell you this outright. There's one production I did. I wouldn't say I regret it now, because if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have known what the potential problems of production work is. So I took on this gig, and it was a 13 episode of some. I'm not going to mention the name of the show, but it was done by the production, which I'm not going to mention also. But it was the deal was so sketchy. I was one of the lucky ones that got paid in the end, because what happened was, right after I got paid and maybe a couple of other cast members, the production got investigated big time by SPRM.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, and then they were shut down because they were found out to be doing a lot of back end dealings with the stations. I'm not going to say which station, but yeah, so they got shut down. But I mean, good riddance lah, because we don't want bad apples like that. Because, like I said, the production management at the time was just horrendous. But because I was still new, so this is all part of my learning curve. I mean, I went in half anticipating problems anyway. So that was how I learned lah. Like, okay, these things can happen. Some people work without contracts, which I think is unacceptable, because your contract doesn't just protect whoever they hire, but it also protects the production. So if somebody were to accept work, a job without contract, I think you're not doing yourself and the other party a favor. Yeah.
So with most people, as I start this podcast, I would say, let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
But there's so much of you going back to the beginning, from your name to your roots and everything else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to treat our podcast as a masterclass, and I'm going to re-edit it, and I'm going to sell it as an online subscription so that I can make some money out of it.
How do you plan to?
Well, you shall see.
Okay.
Right, so how I'm going to do this as a masterclass is very simple.
Yeah.
You're a seasoned actor. Actor.
Don't get me to do all the, when I started out, when I go for casting and all that.
Right.
Okay, do a perplexed face.
Perplexed face. Muka sedih.
Muka sedih. We're not doing that, right?
Actually, that's in my questions.
No. That's
No,
you want to learn about. Stuff like that's very passé these days, because these things were important before the time of YouTube. Now you have people are so exposed.
Right.
Young people don't need to be told what to do in front of the camera anymore.
Right. So going back into that, let's forget about how to act in front of camera, because TikTok has revolutionized that, right? I mean, people know how to fake, people know how to act and everything else. But things that you mentioned, like don't go without a contract, protect your value as an artist. How about does one young actor go about doing that when they're just being casted for a role? I mean, a studio picks them, sees that, hey, you got like 200 followers on Instagram, 200,000 followers on Instagram. I want you to lead this particular movie. What are your rights as an actor that you need to know?
Find out how much how much people are willing to pay you for the time, for the duration. I mean, if you think that's because there's no standard here. There's no regulation. There's no. We don't have a union that says.
Don't we have like something like Seniman?
They're not a union. They're persatuans. They're not kesatuans.
Kesatuan and
Kesatuan is a union. Kesatuan is a union. Persatuan is an association. Associations have no power. We know that. I mean, basically, a persatuan cannot say
enforce.
So who's to say? It's like we don't have A-listers, B-listers here. There's no such thing. It's all perception. Because who there's no body that says, okay, so and so an A-lister has to be someone who's done this amount of work, this body of work and whatnot, over how many years. I don't know, but there's none of that. So there's no A-lister, B-lister. It's just however you want to sell yourself, and it depends entirely on how you sell yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point on mentioning that, because I've seen.
But you know what? Having said that, like I notice a lot of young kids, especially influencers, they know the game probably better than a lot of say wannabe, people who want to get into acting and all that. But people who have been in the TikTok game and what have you, have their own channels. They know the value of things. These guys know what to charge, and they know they can make a lot of money in a couple of hours. Why would they want to spend a whole day at a set? When it's going to be a 16-hour work day, and you're going to get paid less than what you would have been paid in 2 hours of doing a live stream, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So kids, the world's become smaller. Like, we know how much things. We know the value of things in general worldwide, because the internet has made it such. We're exposed to the same things that people in the US are exposed to, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of that, I see that you've upped your social media game. I see you're putting more effort into it.
It's a struggle. Yeah, it's a never-ending struggle. I mean, it's because I've never been a real big social media person, but you can't help it. It's you have to go with the. You have to get with the program. If that's something that will help you stay relevant, then it's to me, that's a responsibility for myself, to myself.
So does that help you get more jobs?
It helps put you out there. It tells people that, hey, I'm still around, I'm still active, I'm still doing this. Hopefully the producers, potential producers, directors, station people, big companies, studios, see me still active, and they see a different side of me. So, because only of late I've been doing these stupid sketches of mine, and then I'm getting
fun. I like post untuk kesehatan is a very fun thing. I see you got a lot of people jumping up. You created a brand new hashtag, bro.
Yeah, and I've been slacking with that because I've been busy with other. So basically, we see a lot of dumb sketches that I do on TikTok and on IG. I mean, I cross-share it, obviously, but it basically means I'm not shooting at the time, so I've got a lot of time in my hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's part of me. It's part of me staying. It's part of sustainability for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So speaking of sustainability.
Yeah.
I saw a recent movie of yours.
Yeah.
I would say it's an underrated movie, but it's a very good movie. Lubo.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
That one.
I've not seen you in a movie where it's just entirely you for a long time. And Lubo was basically centered around your story. Kind of reminded me of James McAvoy's Split.
Yes.
Although they could have.
But Split had about some dozen personalities, or
Yes,
yeah.
about 21 odd personalities or something. And it
So
was-
mine was about 3
Yes.
in Lubo. So that's reflective of the budget.
right. No, it explains also, and I wish I
Yeah.
had shown more of you going to these different personalities so it shows your range.
Yeah, but there's a lot of limitations, and I mean, especially with that movie, because it's an independent flick, you know, shot with an amount that would be equivalent to a student project in the US, for
Right.
instance, you know, or even in Korea, you know,
Right.
for instance. But the producers and the director and producers found out the most cost-effective way of shooting it in one place. So it was done in exactly 15 days flat. We finished it.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it was a very good movie in the sense that, you see, if you watch Malay movies,
Yeah.
the doctor never operates, the pilot never flies the plane.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all budget related.
Alright, But
That's all
this one,
yeah.
we actually
because
saw.
they built a set.
Right.
The set was built in that one location, so that helps because we don't have to waste a lot of time in moving from location
Right.
A to location B. So while we're shooting in one section of the entire, basically the whole set was an old folks' home somewhere in Sri Kembangan. Can't remember for the life of me now the name of that home. Anyway, so they rented the place out for 2 weeks, and what would happen was, let's say we're shooting this scene in section A of the entire complex. It's not a huge establishment, but let's say we're shooting this scene in this section, and while this is going on, the art department will be busy setting up another sort of like section of the place for the following scene. You know, so that was and it was just non-stop. Everyone was just working non-stop. It was it was hard work. It was a lot of hard work for the crew. The actors get it hard too, but it's not physically hard for us in that we don't have to carry equipment around and all that, you know. But the hard work from us would be prepping for the next scene, you know, like we have to, and we're trying to chase so many scenes in a day, and what I do is I read the script like a couple of times before I go on set, and so that even if I don't memorize everything to the T, I would remember at least the flow of the dialogues, and when we're done, you know, when I'm about to do a scene, then I quickly revisit that script, that scene, and like that's when I really commit to memory there and then. Okay. Yeah. So
we're breaking down your process.
Yeah.
Right. In the sense like I really
because bear in mind we didn't. The good thing about that, speaking about Lubo, right? Because we didn't have a lot of time with rehearsals on the set on the shoot days, but we did have like a good week ahead of, you know, before we started principal photography. It was like a good 5-6 days of rehearsals, pocket rehearsals between the directors and the cast. So at least we knew what was going on. At least we knew what to expect of the scene later on. You know, so that helps.
Do you wish you could have done the role differently? I mean, more, less? As an actor, what was your perspective looking back at what you've done?
You know what? That's why
particular
I don't like to watch myself in any of the flicks I've done. The only shows I've watched with me in it are the films that I have to attend the premieres of. You know, otherwise I tend to not really want to watch the stuff I'm in.
Okay.
For many reasons. One of them is because you overanalyze your own work. I think I am my biggest critique. Yeah. The thing I hate most would be to watch myself. Why is my choice like that? You know, like, but so I'd rather move on. I mean, I did the best I could at the time. So I should be proud of that, right? Like, if there were shortcomings, or, you know, if I wasn't, you know, delivering up to par, I don't know. I hope I did, you know, but so I'm entirely director dependent. I depend entirely. I need to trust my director with my life, because if a director tells me, okay, I don't, you know, I think, say a scale of 1 to 10, maybe you tone it down to 3. You were doing 5. To get it down to 3 or something. Okay, we'll do that. And so, okay, you want to try to push it this way now? Like maybe get it up to 7. So that's how I work. I I don't even go look at the monitor afterwards. The only
don't?
time, no, I don't. The only time I go to the monitor is when the director says, "I think you need to look at this," because it's usually for positioning. You know how the camera position, needs you to be positioned in a certain way. You need to be very accurate to the centimeters, like where you're standing. So sometimes the director says, "Come, look at the monitor. At this very point, I want you to be in this. You hit this mark. This is important because the camera needs to focus on something at the back of you, something like that." So that's the only reason I would look at the monitor. Otherwise, I mean, it's if I had it my way, I wouldn't want to look at it. Yeah, because it's another way of me. Because I believe internalizing a role is so much more important than say trying to look good for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't care about the visuals of it when you're already in the character.
I don't care how I look.
Right.
I care how I care how believable I am as a character.
Right.
To me, I failed if an audience sees me as Tony Eusoff in the movie as opposed to as Dirwan in
Right.
Lubo. So the biggest compliment ever is when people say, because I get the random comments and whatever I post, and Dirwan sudah macam ni.
Yeah.
So that's great. Instead of
They bought into Dirwan.
they watch the movie and they use references like that, which I think is very flattering. I think it's very flattering, and I can't thank these people enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you get a character like Dirwan,
Yeah.
it's dark.
Yeah.
It's not mainstream.
Yeah.
It's not propagating a positive stereotype.
Yes. In fact, yeah, you're right about the mainstream thing, non-mainstream, because in fact, the distributor that we had for Lubo, which is actually Scope Productions, and Dato' Yusof Hassam himself actually told the director and producers, said, it's a very interesting show, but it's a very niche sort of like flavor.
Right.
This is, you got to be ready that this is not going to make, it's not going to be box office, because it's not your typical mainstream palette.
Boy meets girl.
Sorry?
It's not a typical boy meets girl. That kind of stuff.
But it's not. Yeah, that, and also the lineup is not. We don't have the mainstream sort of like
Right. We're not big
superstar lineup.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you think that movie would have done much better if they had more people with I would say, standing in that movie? Because you were the only, I would say, a mainstream name in that movie that I know of.
Well, there's Quinoa.
Right.
Yeah, but there was him. There was him. But you're right. I mean, there's not. I think the others. But you get young talents like Hans Aline,
Right.
who's making quite a. He's one of my favorite young actors right now. He's he's got a lot of artistic tricks up his sleeve.
Right.
And we've got people like talents like Alvin Wong and
Right.
Jun Lo Jong, who's
Right.
also the wife of Namron.
Right.
In real life.
Yep.
Young actress called Amirah Razak.
Going back to that Lubo part,
Yeah.
do you think the movie would be bigger if you had
Mainstream lineup.
Zul Arifin or Shafiq Kyle and
Could be, but you have to also look at the story. I think the main star of that is the idea of that story,
right.
as opposed to the potential stars that they could have hired to be in that movie. Because I think the actors they got were people who could fit the roles more than anything else. So it's one of those projects that weren't that wasn't just out there to get accolades, not accolades, but to get traction and popularity and what have you, and it wasn't a sellout piece of work. I think the emphasis was on the concept, the emphasis was on the story and the idea. It's like Avatar.
Right.
Avatar didn't, besides Sigourney Weaver, who else did they use in Avatar? They were relatively.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, but I think Sigourney was a bigger name.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they didn't really need a star because everyone was all made up.
Right.
As in like you most of the time, most of the movie, you don't see their real faces.
Yes.
you know, because because I think the point of Avatar is they didn't really need a star for that movie.
James Cameron was the star.
He was he was a star, but had it been another movie, he would have gotten stars that would that would fit the roles. But this one, the idea of that movie was a star.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was such a groundbreaking sort of like a piece. Avatar was revolutionary. You know, it was just groundbreaking. Nothing like it before that, right? And so I'm just pointing out Avatar as like one of the most obvious sort of like example. So I think Lubo is one of those. It did not need superstar power. I think it just needed a stellar cast, if I should say it. Say so
Tony Eusoff
myself.
starring in it.
Yeah, but the rest, like I think everyone, really were cut out for their roles. I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since we're on the topic of movies,
Yeah.
I want to ask your perspective. What is a good movie? I mean, in general, what is a good movie to you?
It has to be something unusual, surprising, and borderline unbelievable. It doesn't need to be logical. It just needs to be borderline believable, unbelievable. It needs to be plausible, and needs to be compelling. It needs to draw me in, and but I guess it's different people, different strokes, right? Like I'm not so into horror because a lot of the horror elements out there in movies are very, very in your face horror, jump scares and all that. I don't buy into that. That's not my favorite genre.
I don't work.
No. I don't buy into that. In fact, I was in a different podcast not too long ago, and someone actually, just stood behind me in the spot he was covered, and he was there for God knows how long, 2 weeks, I think. And at some point, he was supposed to like grab me, and I was supposed to get like but I was just like ooh. So that went, that was totally wasted.
Right.
But I'm not easily horrified because I've never because of how I was raised. Like I wasn't raised in my family, my mom, didn't raise me to be afraid of ghosts, basically. Because, I grew up in a kampung where we would hunt durians at night. Nighttime is the best time to hunt durians.
Why?
Because we don't have competition.
Would you not see the durian get injured or stuff like
Sorry?
that?
Durian get injured?
Durian falls on your head at night, you can't
You have
see
to be
it.
careful. That's part of the thrill.
So that's the real thrill.
That's a real thrill. But, what I meant was, at night, there'll be lesser people looking for durians. So you have lesser competition, therefore the more chances of you collecting durians at night. So if you need to go through the dusun, and we're talking about dusun as a jungle, basically, isn't it? At 3 or 4 in the morning, you're going to dusun, just torchlight. The last thing you want to be afraid of is ghosts, because there are more dangerous things out there, like bears, sun bears, big cats, leopards, what have you.
Wild boars.
Anything, just like snakes. Those are, to me, those are physically.
In Sarawak, crocodiles, right? No.
And but this is a mountain.
Yeah, I don't know which part of Sarawak.
Yeah, so where I come from is mostly mountains.
Okay.
So we didn't have crocodiles in my area. So those were things that we needed to be more afraid of than ghosts.
Make believe nonsense.
Yeah, to me it's make believe, but you know what? I respect everybody else's beliefs, because until I've seen one myself, I'm not going to believe it.
So, you for 20 plus years you've been working in this industry. All
Yeah.
over Malaysia you've traveled. You've not.
Yes, actually, because of shooting, because I've been an actor, that I've managed to go to all the states in Malaysia now. For instance, I had a month's shoot in Perlis. Otherwise, why would I go to Perlis, right? Like, no, true. I don't. Unless I go to visit friends.
Right.
But you don't really travel all the way and hit. If people go to Perlis, it's usually to go across the border.
Right.
So, but because of shooting, that is one of the best perks of my job, actually. Although of late I've been doing lesser traveling, lesser outstation shoots, which I miss thoroughly. I utterly miss when I started out, there was a lot of projects, and we're shooting in Terengganu, shooting in Perlis, shooting in Kedah, shooting in so it's been a lot lesser now.
Right. So you've never come across any of the mystical things like ghost and people being possessed and you being possessed. And
I've seen so-called possessions on set, but I don't really believe.
Right.
I don't want to offend people, but the ones I've seen, I'm just saying the ones I've seen look fake AF to me. Look very fake because, come on. And these are usually the people who, okay, in my experience anyway, the ones who've been possessed were the non-cast members. They were like maybe the wardrobe assistants,
extras,
crew, whatever, extras even, yeah.
Right.
And the problem is you want to act like you're possessed.
You're an actor.
You want to act in front of an actor, dude. You want to rethink this.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's just it's a belief thing. You can't impose your belief on others. So like, and it's a two-way street. You can't impose your belief on me. You can't force me to believe in paranormal things. Like I can't force you to believe that there isn't. So it works both ways.
Right. Kind of.
I mean, we agree to disagree.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of give me a Ricky Gervais vibe there. Like you don't believe in the.
No. Okay. Well. Like I said, and my patsy, my
axis.
My axis is science.
Right.
To me, that's more. Science can be measured. I don't like something I can't measure. Like love. Anyway, no, but jokes aside. But okay, because I have never. I'm 47 now. In my 47 years of living, I've never heard anything suspicious. I've never seen anything moving in front of me. I would love to invite, please come, expose yourself to me until today.
Right.
When they say, oh, kalau kau riak, mesti kau akan jumpa. Until today. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make a horror series where you go and debunk myths.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not really in line because, okay, we as a people love ghost stories. We love our horrors. Okay? So I can't disrespect that. That's the mainstream. So in that respect, I'm very indie. Yeah. So for me to want to debunk, to me, let people have their beliefs. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not going to pretend that I believe what you believe. But like I said, I'm not gonna participate. For instance, we're at a barbecue. This happens in so many, something of this is very typical. At a barbecue, and then I've got a group of friends who like to just sit down and talk about ghost stories the whole night. To me, that's just boring as hell, and it's a waste of time for me because I'm not interested in their ghost stories because it's all here. So never, So I don't participate in that. I go to another corner where they're playing foosball or something. I mean, let them have their beliefs. I have my own. You respect my beliefs, I respect yours.
So, going back in line of influencing people, beliefs, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I must say this out on camera and thing.
Yeah.
I got into this entire creative world, and I believed I could be an actor at one point in time.
Yeah.
Because of non-Malay actors like yourself. People like you, people like Dr. Hanzazek has inspired me to come forward doing this. Do you see that as something that you are influencing people, younger people, to come on more and more?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, there's nothing greater than, very few things are greater than being of inspiration to others. Like you said,
and I mean that, I genuinely mean that, because when you were on Astana Idaman, you were 27. I was 24.
Yes. Right.
I was still lecturing and everything else, and I was like, oh, maybe I should jump into it because I can see somebody who's...
No, you're right, because my precedents at the time were people I looked up to. Before this all happened before I started to... Because acting was never something I had in mind prior to when I was given the role, given the opportunity to. And it was newfound love, because I think what helped me before that was I was a movie buff, and I still am. I love, that's... Watching a movie or a series, TV series, or reading a good novel is my way of escaping real life, because real life sucks. So It takes me away. I really immerse myself. I'm one of those people who, if I'm watching something, you better not talk to me. Yeah, so I enjoy thoroughly going to watch a movie by myself. Because I am really tuned in. I'm real, I am there.
And you shouldn't have kids, man.
Sorry?
Then you shouldn't have kids.
Why do you think I don't have any?
That you know of.
I've thought this through. So, like, back to the question. So it's the same case with me when I, because I had to do my own research. Like, am I gonna? Do I stand a chance? Am I cut out for this? I've never. So, being able to act or not is one thing, but being able to be a fixture in the business is another, because a lot of things are. It depends on a lot of factors, not just your talent as an actor, but how would you fit in the demographic of, like, a lot of our content is Malay content, right? Because majority. And so if you want to get steadier work, it's always best to assume Malay roles, Malay characters. So I had to really look into myself and ask myself the hard questions, like, am I cut out for this? As a non-Malay actor, do I really stand a chance to compete with my Malay peers? And then I look to people like Dato Hans, who made it. It's like, hey, if he can do it, I have no excuse. People like Susan right. Lancaster. Wow, they've held on to their own. So, like, hey, if they've proven that it can work, I'm gonna give this a shot. Yeah, basically. So, like you said, so these were my inspirations. They probably don't know it, but they are. They were, and they still are.
Right.
Yeah.
So I draw a lot of, you and I have a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I saw one of your podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't like to go into people's personal lives, but it said that you were in a relationship with a woman who's almost 10 years your senior for about 9 years.
Yeah.
I was married to a woman who was 7 years my senior until she died. You broke up. My wife passed away.
Yeah.
You spent some time in jail. I spent some time in the Philippines. Kind of same thing there. Right? But all these things are things that gives arsenal to an actor, right? Your love life or everything else. Do you use a lot of that in when you accept a role, or do you just accept a role for the sake of a role?
I accept the role, not.
I mean, like, let me rephrase the question. How much of Tony Eusoff is in a character that you play?
Depending, some characters are, like you said, some characters have parallels to my real life story, but it will never be 100%. Then those will be easier because I can draw from personal experiences. But there'll be some characters that are completely off tangent. But even then, I think over time, the ups and downs that you go through, those things help you gain. Like, how would you, for instance, okay, how would you play somebody who is a drunkard if you've never been drunk? It's very hard. It's not impossible. You can use all the imagination you have. I think the best tool of an actor is his or her imagination. If you don't have good imagination, then you're in for a lot of brick walls, basically. But so things that have happened in the past, those are things that actually build you and gives you more. At the very least, it gives you empathy, because then you've been through so much. Then you have natural empathy for people who have gone through things that you have gone through.
Right.
So these things help. As an actor, it's impossible for you to not have any empathy. It's just impossible. How can you not have empathy to play a certain character? Like I said, even if you don't, let's say if I were to play a drunk and I've never been drunk, the very least you need to do is research, talk to drunk people, and try to extract as much data, information from them. How does it feel when you're drunk? So you try to find ways of like dealing with it. You might not use your experience because if you've never been drunk, so you obviously have no experience of being drunk to draw from, but you'll find similarities in other, when you're under stress. How do you cope with that stress? So like you put things together, then you deliver your best. And of course, like I said, I'm very director dependent. I cannot work with a director I don't trust, or cannot work with and cannot discuss things with, because because as an actor, I think a big part of my responsibility is to meet the director's vision, at least halfway. Because if I don't meet the director's vision, because it's the director's film. That's why they say a film by so and so.
Right.
So it's the director's vision, the director's film. I am merely a tool, and I hope to be a useful tool.
Right.
The last thing I want to be is a tool that's obsolete, or that can't be used, that breaks down every now and again. So to me, my discussion with my director is of paramount importance. After that will be my chemistry with all my co-actors, my fellow cast members, because that's very important. I think camaraderie on set is second to none, because a production is essentially teamwork. It is teamwork. The bigger the production, the more important it is for everyone to play their roles, to play their part as well as they can, to make things go as smoothly as possible, which is almost impossible, practically in principle impossible for a production to go smooth sailing all the way. There'll be problems, but the important thing is if we all work together and we all root for each other, these problems we can find solutions to it. There are always solutions if people put their heads together. And fights do happen, but fights on set, have it contained as a work fight. Don't bring it home.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my principle. I've had rows on set, but it's nothing personal. It's always because the wardrobe person doesn't get it right, and I now have to change. We already shot this scene, and then they realize, oh, crap, he wore the kanti's wrong. So but and then I have to be empathetic. Okay, the wardrobe person's been working 20 hours non-stop, every day. So, people make
mistakes. Human factor.
Human factor, exactly. Like I've made mistakes too, so you give and take lah. You have to understand what the other person's going through. Everyone's going through, and then don't forget, we're all working. To me, we're getting buttons for pay for what we do. If we compare it to say the world standards, were like, especially talent here, right? We're a little underpaid for what we need to do. Yeah, because for instance, I quit one. I'm done with one project, and then as the next project comes in, like 2 days afterwards, after I wrap, and I still have to I have no time to decompress, take time off, go to the Bahamas or something, just to, to heal, and then come back and be ready for the next gig. We don't have that luxury here. Yeah, bills need to be paid, unfortunately. Right. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's very good info. All right, so Tony, I want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I want to wrap it in a fun way. So let's play a game. It's a simple game. I'll mention a name, and you say the first word that pops into your head. All right? Simple game. Tom Cruise.
Mission Impossible.
Burger.
Carl's Jr.
Movie.
Shawshank Redemption.
Sudirman.
Chowkit.
Rajinikanth.
I can't say it. Rajinikanth. Icon.
Love.
Chemistry.
Tony Eusoff.
I'm terrible at talking about myself. Tony Eusoff, all over the place. Oh, you said one word, right?
Yeah, one word.
Mess.
So, as we wrap this up, Tony,
Yeah.
what is your dream project?
A lot. There's not just one. I love, as an actor, I can't speak for all, but at least this is from close friends that I know, and I think actors in general want to. I'm always looking for the next challenge, the next role that I haven't played before. You know, like of late, I've always been telling people, look, guys, I would really love to be given like a common, you know, okay, because I always get all these. My stereotype is like, I play corporate person, dato, sleazy dato, and I'm always wearing suits.
Sorry, man.
And like I told you at the beginning of the show, my biggest problem when I'm on set is I'm what they call the waterworks. I sweat profusely, non-stop, and because I always get typecast as someone in a suit, and when we're shooting in an office environment, you know, half the time they can't even turn the aircon on when it's rolling because of the noise. So they have to turn it off. And I'm in a three-piece suit, and with all the lights, you know, like so that's my personal biggest challenge. I always tell people, guys, can you give me like a kampong role? I would love to play a farmer. Dude, just give me time. I can take 1 month off if I'm paid enough to retain, you know, for you to retain me. I'll get a tan. I'll look scruffy. I can grow my beard and whatnot. I bet you I can look as a farmer can look.
Or a regular husband, regular man. Regular
man.
Joe kind of.
Regular Joe. But so but I mean, that's a. But I think my answers were prayed, and my prayers were answered in a tiny way. I just recently wrapped a short film. It was just a 2-day shoot where I played a papaya farmer.
Dream come true.
Dream come true, but it's not a mainstream show, so it's not even going to be watched by a lot of people because it's a short film for the Kanchil Awards. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was it.
Showing up for us.
Oh, thank you.
Because I like to
how
keep
long
it,
was that? It felt like
an hour.
Has it been an hour?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought it was like 20 minutes.
No, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what I mean by we're going to do more masterclasses because it doesn't feel that long when we talk about your process.
Right.
Because I'm not too concerned about your personal life and things like that. Because
my personal life is.
I don't care.
My personal life. I wouldn't mind talking about my personal life. It was interesting, but it's not as exciting as people think it is. Because no, this is why I like acting.
Right.
Because acting gives me the opportunity to play a life that's way more interesting than my real life.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my escape.
Right.
So going to work going to a shoot, going to a set where I need to assume a character that's just out of
like playing a murderer.
Playing a murderer, for instance, like yeah. I mean, so these are my escapes. These are my, and I love play acting. This is something, So this is right up my alley. So this is something I wish to do until I die.
Right. I've seen you say that in many podcasts and many interviews and everything else.
Okay, the problem I had in the past was like I would get journalists coming up to me and said, "Hey Tony, Tony ni dah berlakon lama kan? Macam tak ada ke plan perancangan nak jadi seorang director ke selepas ni jadi producer ke jadi." Saya tak, saya suka jadi pelakon. Apa salahnya saya maintain jadi pelakon sampai saya tua?
Yeah. There was a Hollywood actor who was asked this question. He was asked, so don't you plan on being an actor, a director or producer? He said, this is not high school or college. You're not graduating. I'm an actor. This
No, it's the same thing as that because I'm not. Okay, I know my weaknesses. I know my limitations. I'm not a storyteller. I wish I was. I wish I was a writer. I think what makes an actor even better is if he or she is a writer, him or herself, like Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Jack Nicholson is an amazing writer.
Correct.
So a lot of his improvs, a lot of his movies, his scenes. Like I think one of the stories he did was The Departed.
Yeah, I saw the Matt Damon's interview.
Yeah. So like
it just went on
because he can only do that because he's an excellent writer himself. So if an actor can write well, that's a bonus. I wish I was like that. I wish I was that sort of actor, but I'm not. Which just like makes me a little depressed sometimes. But directing is not my thing either, because I'm not a good enough storyteller to be a director. Okay, tell you what, I can direct badly, but I wouldn't be the director I want to be. Yeah.
No, but I don't think that's wrong. I saw an interview recently with Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
Or Dato Shah Rukh Khan, as he's known in Malaysia.
Yes,
because he's got Dato-ship, right?
Yes.
So Shah Rukh Khan was asked. So Shah Rukh Khan has produced, but he is more of an actor. He doesn't want to direct nothing else. And he was asked.
No, and he would do us a disfavor if he stopped acting, because Shah Rukh Khan, look how beautiful he is as a person.
Right.
And he's a great actor.
Yeah.
So if he stopped acting, people are gonna say, "Hey, dude, why? You've been doing so well. You've been entertaining us. That's your contribution."
Right.
We want to see Shah Rukh Khan acting. There's nothing to hate about him. You can't pick on Shah Rukh Khan, man.
Right.
Yeah, he's just.
But just a little note, even Shah Rukh Khan went bankrupt because of this movie that he produced called Rawan. He lost all of his wealth. Amitabh Bachchan went bankrupt when he tried. All these people who are actors, who were like really known for acting, when they went out of their lane.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get your point. Yeah.
So
maybe they were just venturing out, trying to diversify. But you know what? If you don't try, you'll never know.
Yeah, but they lost really badly.
Dude, you pick yourself up again.
Yeah.
If you're all the way down, the only way to go is up.
Right.
Yeah.
Positive words from my friend Tony Eusoff.
This is one of my favorite own quotes. Okay. So when people ask me like, kenapa Tony ingin jadi seorang pelakon? Guys, this is my way of contributing to society at large, because I'm not useful in so many ways. So this is one of the ways I can be useful, and I can provide at least entertainment to people. So I tell people that, harimau mati, tinggalkan belang. Pelakon mati, tinggalkan filem.
Very nice.
So I hope after I go, when it's my time to go to the Lord, at least my films will be there, and they'll be there forever.
Nicely said for somebody, because when you say that, it reminds me of P. Ramlee. And nicely said for somebody who is known for playing P. Ramlee in a lot of productions.
Yeah,
right?
I never thought of it that way.
Right.
But like I said, this is my little way of contributing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautifully said, Tony. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you very much for giving all out, playing all out.
Thank you.
Full out.
Thank you.
It was amazing.
I was doing my level best to not say the wrong things.
You did it.
Because I am my biggest sabotager. Anyway. So
yeah. But it was a very beautiful moment, Tony, I would say.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's Life Unscripted. Amar Delon featuring Tony Eusoff, our hero Malaya. Real conversations, unscripted journeys, shot here at Empire Podcast Studio, where the quality that you see is the quality that you get. So let us help you broadcast your podcast. See you.